Okay. You're working already. Alrighty. Where's my camera? There I am. Right, so I think it's time to start. Hello everyone. Hey Cyril. Hey, workflow in mind. Nice name for Python. Really in tune with what we're gonna do today. We'll remove this stuff now. Hey there everyone. Alright, so it's a nice day to learn some Python. Hey Claudio. Hey Ruslan. Cool. I see there's a lot of people here. Really nice. Alright, so let's talk about Python and Houdini. I really like that image. This looks pretty cool. Hello, the Parv. The Parv? I don't know how to say that. Parv? Maybe type your name to see what your real name is. Alright guys, so let's start learning about Python. And I'm gonna start by saying something really important. Hey Vijitner, how are you? I'm really glad there's a lot of people here. And I'm gonna say this first thing. A lot of people tell me this first when I talk about programming and stuff. I'm an artist, they say. They're like, why should I learn programming? I'm an artist. Well, let's see. I draw, I do images, I write, I play guitar, I paint. What else do I do that is artistic? I take photographs, I make 3D. So I think I am an artist. I really think I am an artist. So, and I like programming. So, artist and programming are not fighting with each other. It's pretty cool actually to know programming and as an artist. So, all right. So with that out of the way, we are all artists, and we can take advantage of programming to do stuff. So there's no more stuff about, oh, I'm an artist, whatever. So Python, this is the main page for Python. This is a language for doing programming. It's a scripting languages. It's a scripting language, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty simple to learn, but it's pretty powerful. And a lot of applications have integrated Python into the application to automate a lot of stuff. So there is really, I mean, it's really useful to use it in. It's embedded in Maya, in Houdini, in Blender, in Clarice. RenderMan has a RenderMan Python module, so it's everywhere. A lot of tools are being developed in the industry to work. Built with Python to do all the scheduling stuff like that. And so you can even see, even in the Python here, if you go to the success stories, you can even see the first thing you see there is Lucasfilms. So they use Python for their pipeline. A lot of big studios use it. A lot of artists use it to automate stuff and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool to know this, because it will make you more valuable. Actually, if you are a great artist and you say, oh yeah, and I know Python, oh, suddenly it brings you to kind of another level, because you are not afraid of doing this kind of stuff. So all right, in Houdini there's a few ways you can do Python. Just by opening Houdini, there's no real difference if you're not looking around for Python. It doesn't tell you anywhere. Here's the Python thingy. But yeah, in the Windows menu, there's a few Python options here. So let's start with that. Let me just turn down my phone. All right. So there's a few things here. There's a Python shell, there's a Python source editor, and there's a Python panel editor. And this is the newest one. So let's start with the Python shell. And the Python shell is just Python. It's just a shell there. You can type stuff here like hi, and it's gonna say, I don't know what that means. And that's one way. I usually have that here all the time. So this is the Python shell. I have it here all the time because I really use it a lot. And the Python source editor is kind of like a script editor. Here you can, or a text editor, you can type Python here, and you can save it with your scene. This will be saved with your scene when you save this, apply. It's gonna complain as well. That doesn't know what that is. All right, so don't save it. And the other one is the Python panel editor, and this is one of the newest additions. You can see it here. There's a Python panel here, and there's a few instructions here to get you started doing these kind of panels. There's a few examples that come with Houdini, like the character picker. It's a tool that you can use to create a character picker for your characters. The Tuples library is another one. And actually, I think if we create one of the characters, let's say simple female, I think this ones have it selected from here, simple female. I think these ones have a few poses. Yeah, there you go. So this is a tool completely built in Python and integrated into Houdini. You can see this is like a Python, like a pose library. You can just click here and it will just pose it. So it's pretty quick, and all this stuff it's built in Python. So you can build this kind of tools or whatever tools you need for Python. And I think this has the character picker as well. Let me see if it's included with this. Yes. So this is the character picker, which was made. This character picker was made after I made the character picker tutorial. So if you want to learn how to make something like this, this was done by Side Effects. I didn't do this, but before this was done, I did this training. Let me show it to you. So I did this training, and it's the whole process of building something like this from scratch using Python for Houdini. So you can still go and buy this if you want to learn how to do something like this from scratch. You can still buy that, and it's pretty useful. I think, oh, it's 6 hours. 6 hours of Python goodness. And this is just the character picker. You can click here and select the head. Select here to select the IK hand. Here to select the hand. You can see this is pretty it's a pretty common tool to build for animators. And you can build whatever you want here. This is just, it has a few tabs here for the face. So select the jaw. You can see you can make her talk and whatever. So this is just a few things you can do. There's all Python behind the scenes for this. And you can have it here in a panel in Houdini, which is pretty cool. All right. Okay, so let's start by doing some Python here. Let's delete this girl. And I have my Python shell here, which is exactly the same as this one. If you want to open this one, or if you just want to make a panel and Python shell, this is the same thing here. All right. So but I think it's gonna be really small text. So let me see if I can do this text bigger. I can't. I can't make the text bigger. That's pretty bad. All right. So we're not gonna spend too much time here anyway. So Python, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty cool and it's pretty simple actually. So let's say all programmers, all programs have a hello world example. So what would that be in Python? That would just be print, and then in double quotes, hello world, and press enter, and there the result is hello world, and that's exactly the hello world program there. So we just typed a command, and the command takes one argument, and all right. So they're saying that the text is readable, which is pretty cool. All right, and so there's just taking a command. You can print a number as well if we want to print whatever number. We just print that. Just knows that this is a number and prints a number. So if I want to print the name of a node in Houdini, let's create Roberto, which by the way, I already have a tool named Roberto. It's already part of Houdini. So Roberto, the cool thing about Houdini is that you can drag actually these nodes to windows. Like in this windows, you can drag it and it will give you that node there. You can see it gives me the path to the node, and this path is just how it's represented here, right? It's inside OBJ and the name is Roberto. So if I press enter here, it's just gonna tell me that this is a node and this is a type of geometry and this is the path. So if we go to the help, there's a bunch of help for hey everyone, I see there's a lot more people here, which is pretty cool. In the Houdini help, there's a lot of Python help. So if you go here and scroll down, there is Python scripting, and there's a section for Python panels here as well. Let's go to Python scripting. And all right, so all right, so the Python scripting here, it's really useful to read. If you are really new to this, you can just go and read it. And there's an introduction to HOM or HOM, which is the Houdini object module, I think it's called. Yeah, Houdini object model, which is basically just their interface to the core Houdini or Python and the core Houdini implementation. So is their API, how Python communicates to the underlying Houdini. And there's a few examples here. It tells you how to print stuff, how to select nodes and stuff like that. How to get started. You can see Python, it's pretty simple. You can just type whatever 2 plus 2 and it gives you the result. And you multiply, do functions and stuff like that. And you can load files. You can do a bunch of things from Houdini. And if you are really new to this, I really encourage you to go and read this in detail and do the examples here that are included with the help, which is pretty cool. It tells you where you can put scripts, where to use them, where to how they execute and stuff like that. So the thing, this HOM or this HOM, deselect. Crap, got stuck. All right, this is part of the Houdini API. So if you type here what's happening with my window? There we go. If you type HOU, like HOU, and dot. There's going to be, this is the main package for Python here in Houdini. This is the main Houdini module. There, it's going to access a lot of the stuff from your Houdini scene, from some stuff of the UI and query information for parameters and stuff like that. This is basically the main node. But let's do some stuff in Python before we can before we do here these things. Before we start building something for Houdini. So let's go with the source editor. This is a nice way to do this. So again, we said print hello world. We already know that we can print whatever we want, right? If we say that, we're just gonna print it here. So I like to keep this open because this is kind of the output. We'll print whatever we have with here. Gus, yeah, no problem, Gus. You can see the recorder version later. And sliders. Yeah, sliders is not something magical. You can just drag this guy to the viewport and add slider, and there you go. You had sliders there. You don't have to use any Python stuff, and you can just remove them, and they're gone. Persistent off, and they're gone. You can do whatever parameter, just drag it to the viewport. And then let's try to do something more functional with Python. Let's say we want to, what can we do that is not that boring? Let's print the selected nodes in Houdini. Let's select the Taurus and Roberto. Yeah, there we go. So let's make a list of objects. So you need to understand the first variables. Yeah, I'm kind of jumping ahead. So creating variables in Houdini in Python is just very simple to just create. Really wish I could do this text larger. I can't. So maybe we can just do it in it's gonna be the same thing, so we can do it here in a text editor. Put this to Python, and we can say print hello world, and let's run that. Let me save it somewhere. Python examples, packages. What was the command? Control Shift B. All right. So, but I can make this larger, which is pretty cool. All right. All right. So now we can all see this. Okay. So to create something that is called a variable, which is just something to store a value. So let's say I want to store a value of my scene. I just type a name and I call this gonna be the scene. It's gonna be equal to my Houdini file .hip, and this value is just gonna be stored here. So if you just then print scene, if we print that, you can see here, oh, what happened? Oh, yeah, I put that there. So if we print this, we just say it's gonna print my Houdini file here. Now this is really small, but whatever. So it's printing the content of this. Is if I put something else like version is gonna be equal to 14. If I print that, print version, which is pretty bad spelling there, you can see it's gonna print 14. If we just change this to 16 and we run it, it's just gonna print 16. All right, it's pretty cool. Okay, so this is the basic ways of storing a variable. Python, it's more enough to know that this is a string variable and this is a number or or an int integer variable. You don't need to type any different values here. Even if we say this is going to be a vector, it's going to be equal to 0, 0, 0. No, I don't think this is going to work, but this will work. And we print that, print the vector. Then we have a vector there. So Houdini knows whatever you are typing here, it's just going to be that. This is actually a list, not a vector. And you can do a list. Let's do fruits or colors. It's going to be equal to red, green. Let me put this in brackets, red, in quotes, green, and blue. So now this variable contains 3 values. This is what it's called a list in Python. If we print the colors list here, see now we have this list. We can even say to ask Python what type it is by putting this type command and closing this in this parenthesis, and it says the type is a list. Okay, well, it's a list, cool. And we can access these values by numbers, this is pretty important. So let's say colors, and if you put these square brackets as the same as here when you created the list, these guys will be actually numbered starting by 0, 1, and 2. 0, 1, 2. So if we want to print green, we just put 1. Down here. We want to print green, we just do that, and then we accessing that value. And this is pretty important because a lot of parameters in Houdini are stored like this in list. The other thing that's very common in Houdini is let's say geometry. It's gonna be equal to, let's create a dictionary, and it's gonna be called Taurus, Taurus. It's type. I think I'm doing this wrong. No, there's the dictionary you can create. Oh yeah, I forgot to we have to use curly brackets here. So let's say we are doing a list of geometry. Let's call one ROP, and it's this is gonna be inside mantra, and then we have a comma, and let's do a cop, and a cop is gonna be maybe color, and let's say a sop is gonna be Roberto. All right, so what's happening here? We are creating a dictionary here, and a dictionary it's very similar to a list, but we have this squirrely brackets, and we have a name and a value here. So in this case, the name is Rob, and this object contains the value mantra. So this is one object here, or one value, I'm sorry, and this is one entry, and that's one entry. So if we print geo, so we have the dictionary like that. But if you want to say, let's print the value of Rob, we need to access it like this. It's the same way we access the list, but we give it the name of the value we want. Like, let's say give me the value of Rob. This is how I think about it. Let's give me the value of Rob in this dictionary, and the value of it's mantra. So instead of referencing this, let's say an advanced list, instead of referencing it by numbers, we give it a name, and that name gives us the value. So if I want to print the sub value, just give it the key. These are actually in Python, they're called key and value. This is the key and this is the value. This is the key and this is the value. And this is a very common way as well to store values. The other common way to store values in Houdini is translate is equal to, we can actually print this here. Let's see the translate, let me put it here, print it, and let's see a ball. So this is another really common way to store values in Houdini. Let's say the translate, it's gonna be 0, 0.0, comma 0, 0, comma dot 0, sorry, comma 0, comma dot 0. So this will be like the translation values. This is what it's called tuple, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it's a tuple, which is just 3 values in one tuple here. It's called a tuple. So translate, it has 3 values, and the way we access these values, it's pretty simple actually. It's very important because we have all these parameters that are going to be tuples, and it's going to be really important to know how to access these values every time, because they're going to deal a lot with that in Houdini. So the way you access these values, this is going to be, for example, if I type 5 and 10 and 2 and 5, I'm sorry, 2, this is going to be the values they're going to be in the translate. If I print that again here, and see now those are the values returned. So if I want to access the X value, I can just say from this translate, let's put the values here, 5, 10, and 2. So if we want to print the values of the translate X, let's put again, I'm doing something weird here. Translate X, again, we just access it using the square notation, and select the first value of this, and if we print that, you can see the value is 5 here. Let me try. All right, so the value is 5 here. I just made this a new tab. Let's see if this works when I compile. Let's access value 2. Nah, it doesn't show here. Right. Don't save. Let me see if, well, we're going to be finished with this in a second. So if we want to access this value is just 0, and this 1, and this 1, and this is 2. So that's really simple. And this is mostly what you're going to be dealing with stuff in Houdini. And now the other thing, oh yeah, tuple, it's a tuple. That's the word. I don't really know what it means, but it's just an argument that has several values. That's the word that I was talking about. The other thing we need here before we move into Houdini, it's how to define a function, and that's pretty simple. I mean, really useful, because you want to do some stuff in and group it into functions, like and to create a function in Python, it's really simple. Just call it def for the definition of the function. Then you give it a name like print all colors. Doesn't matter if you have capitals, whatever you want here. I just think you can have numbers. Let me see if you can have numbers. Let's see if Python complains. Yeah, you can have Python numbers in a function. You can have any letters. I think you can have functions numbers after the first letter. So yeah, but not at the beginning. So let's call this colors, print colors. And then you give it a parenthesis. If you can put options here for the function, and then you give it a two. This is a colon. Yes, I always confuse this with the semicolon, but yeah, this is the a colon. And then in editors like this one, since it knows that it's Python, if you press enter, you can see there's a space now here between the beginning and here, and this is just the tab. And Houdini, Python, it's very sensitive to tab, to spacing. It doesn't matter if you have like 2 spaces or 4 spaces, but you just have to have some defined spacing that all content is aligned to. So if I put this, you can see all these commands here start at the very first line. If I put this one forward 2 spaces, now you can see Python actually complains because it's thinking that this is a function, but this is not formatted as a function. So we need to be careful with spacing in Python. In other programs like in Bex, you actually use these curly brackets, and it doesn't matter if you type here or if you put a tab before. But in Python, instead of using these curly brackets, you use space. And the common thing is just use tab. Use one tab and you can type commands here. And what this space means is all these commands here are a member of this, or is the content of this function. And that's basically it for a function. Well, let's print all these colors here. And let's do a for loop for color, or let's put it color in colors. I'm gonna explain what I'm doing here in a second. Print CLR. Let's print that. And it runs correctly. So what I'm doing is, inside this function, I'm creating a for loop, and this for loop, it's taking it's something that's pretty helpful to know. Just if you wanna iterate inside these colors here and print them all in one go, you can use this and add this for loop, and I'm saying create a for loop, and I'm creating a variable here that it's gonna be used for color. Inside the colors variable that we have here, whatever is inside in this variable, I'm gonna access it by this variable one at a time. So the first time this runs, it's gonna say, oh, it's red, and CLR is gonna be red. Once that is done, and it prints this statement or whatever statements are here inside this for loop, now it goes back again into colors and says and thinks and checks if there's something else in colors. Yeah, there's another element. So now the green, it's gonna be stored in this variable, and then it prints that, and then checks if there any more items in colors. Yes, there's another one. So now it passes that to this, and it prints that. And it's not printing anything here. Let me just remove all these print statements for now. You can see if I run it, there's not printing anything but this. And that is because this function is not being called at all. It's being created, but I'm not calling this function. I'm not saying run that function. So to run the function, I just put the name like that with the parentheses, and we are calling this function here. If we run that, now we can see you're printing red, green, and blue. If this list gets bigger, like purple, and I don't know, orange, and sky blue, then if I run this code again, it's just gonna print everything there is inside that function. And when there's no elements inside colors, it's just gonna stop. All right, if we want to pass a value to a function, let's say we pass, let's make another function. Define example, because I don't want to take, I can say give me a variable here. I'm just gonna variable, well, I'm gonna call it name. And inside here, I'm gonna print name, which is this variable here, comma, oh no, let's add to this so we can see how to add to this value, likes, and then we add something else. I like orange, so let's say 1 0 1 2 3 4 colors 4. All right, so what's happening here? So I'm creating a function that will take a parameter here, and then I'm taking this parameter and I'm printing it, and I'm adding this parameter to this string. So just by doing this plus signs here, you can just join these things together, and then I'm adding a function at the end, actually a variable here that will print whatever name you give me likes this color. So to call that function is just, again, it's very simple. Example, let's say Baromix, which is me, but okay, this is gonna fail. And why did it fail? Because it says Baromix is not defined, and of course it's not defined, but I'm here, I'm defined. This is not defined because if you don't put any quotes around this, it thinks it is a variable, like we're doing here or here or here. So it thinks this is a variable, and it's starting to look for the variable up here and says, nope, can't find that. But let's say, no, this is not a variable, it's a name. Just pass it as a name to this function. So now if we run it, Baromix likes orange. That's pretty cool. And this is pretty common as well in Python, passing parameters. And in other functions, I think this is going to be the last one before we do Houdini stuff. Example return. Let's say this takes nothing, or let's say it takes a name as well, and let's return, which is gonna return the name in uppercase. Just really simple and fast. So what's happening here is I'm creating again a function that creates a name, that takes a name, and this return keyword here is gonna say when you call this this function, I'm gonna send you back whatever I put here. So in this case, I'm gonna take the name, change it to uppercase, and return it when you call it. So let's say example return, and let's call this with Houdini. No, lowercase Houdini. And let's run that, and it runs, but I didn't use the return value. So we can actually print this directly, print whatever this function returns. If we print that, now you can see Houdini is returning all caps by this function. All right, so that is basically really fast Python stuff here. Basic Python stuff. If you want to learn more about Python, I really recommend this page called Academy. There's a really nice course here about Python. There's a lot of languages here, but there's one about Python, And I know some of you don't speak English, or you speak English, it's your second language as me. If in this page, if you go down here and you change the language to one of this, let's say Spanish, or French, you can say there's French there and Portuguese. If you change that and you open that, you can see now some courses are actually in Spanish and in other languages. So you can see this Python, it's in Spanish. Let's see, I know there's some French people here, so let's see if Python it's in French. There we go, it's in French as well. So you can go there, and this course is really cool. So go there and please do it. It's just gonna be so much useful to you. Python, it's cool. So now in Houdini, let's start with the tools here. You can see there's a bunch of tools here, and oh my god, this thing, is that a PySide thing? No, that's not PySide. It's called Codecademy, and it's free. That Python course is free. You don't have to pay anything, and it's really interactive. You can tells you what to do, and you have to solve the code, and you run the code right there in the page, and it tells you if it's wrong or not, which is pretty cool. So these tools here, you can see that there's a lot of tools here, and if you actually go, let's say for the font, right click on the tool there, so we can actually go and see what this subtool utils script is actually. So yeah, let me show you that. Let me go to where my Houdini is. Houdini 613. So this is where my Houdini installation is, and it should be in Houdini Python libraries here. This one's called what? Subtool utils. Subtool utils. You can see there's a bunch of Python scripts here. If we open this one, let me just close this. If we open this, this is just a Python file, and you can see this is all the code to create tools and a lot of helpful and helper functions here. If we search for I don't know what's here, generic tool, find generic tool, generic tool. I can't freaking type. So there we go. There's a function being created here. As we saw, defining a function that takes a bunch of arguments and and when it's run, does a bunch of stuff. So it's just Houdini. It's using a lot of Python to do the tools, which is pretty cool. Where do you save your scripts in Windows? All right, yeah. So let's do that. A few places where you can save Houdini, scripts with your scene is the one. It's here in the source editor. You can see that this will be saved with the scene. Let's call this hello Roberto, and apply and accept. And if I save this scene, I didn't set my project. Let me set it right now. Set it to example. Save. Let me do a new scene, then open that scene again. Discard that. You can see that once it actually already printed here, Roberto. Let me open that again. I think my script is wrong. Need to fix that. And the window source editor, you can see the code is there, still there. It's gonna be saved with your heap file. So if you have some automation stuff here that you're doing, it's all being saved there. If you want to access scripts from Houdini, you have to put them in your Houdini user folder. You have to create a scripts folder there, and inside there you have to create a Python folder. And here you can see I have a few projects here. This project man is actually this menus that I have here, and if you put them there inside your user folder scripts Python, you can import anything from here. So we can actually do one file here. Create new text file. Let's call this hello py, and inside here let's open it with Sublime. Let's define a function that it says hello and just print hello. Print hello Roberto, like that. But we have to close Houdini and bring it up again so we can import this, because Houdini reads this directory at the start. So let's let me close Houdini really quick. Just make sure I open the correct version. So I open the Houdini back again. I can say import hello. Now hello, it's imported here. Like I said, hello. Hello. You can see there's my function actually that I created. If I run it, says hello Roberto. So we're accessing this external file here, and we are running this function here. You just need to say import this file called hello, and then we can run the function there. So if you this is very common, and I use this a lot. I just store my files outside of Houdini and just call them from Houdini. So that's how you do that. All right. There's a few other places where you can let me put my path again. Example. All right, now this loaded correctly. If you sorry, you can use actually expressions in these fields here. If we actually just maybe drag this field to the scale, you can create a relative reference here, and this is an H script. You can see now the scale is driving the the translation X is driving the scale there. Just saying copy that value there, which is pretty cool. It looks like a turtle there. And you can actually use Python here instead of H script. Why hello? Because I imported the package, and the package is called hello, and inside that hello, the function is called hello. So I needed to type from this package that I imported, run the function hello. If I had another function there like goodbye, print whatever, this will be like from the package hello that I imported, which is the name of this file. Now run goodbye, like that, and it will execute this one. Okay, so what were the? Let me just do something that makes sense here. Goodbye, Roberto. You can actually use Python in these fields as well, and to do that you need to change this scripting language here in the top here. You can choose a script or Python, and actually if I go and set that to Python, this turns red because it was in a script. We can actually delete it, and now we can actually type Python here. But yes, it's just the way you have to access the package. When you import the package, it just means like include it in this file, add it, make it available for me. but that function is still inside the hello package. So I can do this again if so we have two functions here. This doesn't have to be called hello. Let's call it something else, like utilities. Let's say that these are my utilities. Let me close that, close without saving because I renamed that. So in utilities, I have a function called hello and then one called goodbye. All right. Let me open Houdini again. And here I'm gonna say import that package, which is called utils. Import utils. Inside utils, there are functions, and you can see now inside utils I have two functions. I have one that says goodbye and one that says hello. Now I want to run that function. I run that function. Inside utils, I have another function that says goodbye and that says goodbye, Roberto. Is that clear? So we're just creating the main package. It's the same as we're gonna see for Houdini. Did you make use of decorators? I haven't used decorators, or I'm not sure what you mean. And also decorators are just something really advanced, so we're not going to talk about that stuff right now. So let's continue with where you can use Python here in Houdini. We really need to get this done. So Roberto didn't load. Come on, this thing. Need to fix it. Let's load the other scene, maybe. Example. Why is Roberto missing? What is Roberto? New, discard new. I don't know why this is not loading correctly. Weird. All right, let me close Houdini again. I don't want to open the wrong thing. So that is out of the way. That's out of the way. LearnDay. Let's open the example scene. Should have Roberto there. All right. So we can use expressions here as well. Let's go inside Roberto, put a transform here. This is not a transform. I don't really recommend you use Python here for expressions unless you start, unless you are, I say give it a few time and you get more used to Python before you actually change this from HScript, because most people just use HScript, but it's tending to go more towards Python. But you can use it. Let's say that we have a parameter that we want to link like before here. If we do this, drag it to the scale, relative reference, you can see that works, but it's not creating actual Python here, it's creating a script. Even when I change this to Python, you can actually type Python stop here and access the common parameters values here. Like let's say we have something different like a line. We want to make it polywire. There we have a line that it's been that has a radius here. Let me give it more divisions here, make it maybe longer. If we want to, let's say, add a color to this, let's make this more points. We have a line with a bunch of points, and then we want to add some color, which is I just added color from where did I don't see the color. Yeah, there we go. That's the color I added. So maybe we want to give pass that color to the width. We could in a script we will do just cd and you can pass the color. It's not passing the color. cd caps, sorry, so I'm getting used to cdx what the polywire doesn't give me my colors some of the time. It's just it's not, there's no local variable here for color. But let's create that attribute just so we can see what this is gonna do. Don't worry about this. I'm just creating the local variable for color here, and I'm gonna make cd. Doesn't want to work with me right now. Delete cd local variable cd. All right, that should work. cd. All right, so what's complaining now? cd is a point attribute. Expect the literal. Oh yeah, has to be 3 values. There we go. So we have 3 values there. So now we could try to pass this to a polywire. This is a really stupid way to do this, but I could say now I can say cd here, and cd1 will be the red channel. And now this is growing by the radius is based on the red channel here. cd2, it's the second value of that. You can see that's the green value. If you want to do this in Python, let's delete that and change this to Python. We need to call a function that is named lbar, and lbar is basically the same thing as doing this, the dollar sign. So lbar, and then we call the cd2, enter, and it's not gonna work because cd needs to be cd why no, cd doesn't work. Oh yeah, all right, yeah, it's Python inside the variables here. It's not oh yeah, I have to be sorry to put it in quotes, cd2 quotes. So there we go. That's the same thing as SageScript. As you can see, it's a lot more to type, and it's not really brilliant to use Python here unless you're gonna do something more complex. Like, I should have my camera like this one. So in my camera, I have a parameter here. If I put my cursor here and press Alt-E, you can see I have a bigger Python expression here, which is getting the name of the file, and it's removing everything else but the name, and then I mean the project path, and then getting the name of the file, and then it's printing that, returning that into this value here. So if you're going to do more complex stuff inside parameters like this one, use it there. But if you're doing something simple, that's just referencing a variable here, that's just simpler to do in a script right now. All right, so let's start doing something useful, because we already I've been talking for an hour right now. So what I'm gonna do 2 tools, and this is my favorite, one of my favorite ways to do Python. It's just create new tools that we can add here in the shelf here. You can create tools, and Let's see what we have here. This is pretty cool. All right. Python Roberto, it's here. All right. So we're gonna create a tool. So I have a tool that it just helps me do this. You can see that we are typing all the time, creating a null, and calling that out geometry or whatever, and maybe even giving it a color, and that's it. We reference this after that. But let's create a simple tool that just makes this null, gives it a color, and gives us a nice interface to give it a name. So let's create a new shelf here. You can create any shelves you want. I'm gonna call this Python, and the label is gonna be Python for now, and apply and accept. Now we have an empty shelf here that we can put tools into, and now we can just right click on it and say new tool. Let's call this out, and the label is gonna be out, and the icon here, you can maybe let's get which one should we get? Let's get this tool, this null icon here. Just gonna copy this, put it here, say apply, close that one. So now we have a tool with an icon there that does absolutely nothing, but we can click it. Woo! Let's go edit tool, and let's go to the script section now. Let's start doing some stuff. So let's start by testing that everything works, and say let's print hello Roberto, apply. If we click it, now you can see the result here. It's gonna run every time you click it. Pretty cool. All right. So for this tool, let me see, where's my out tool? Current node. Okay, so let's create something cool here. Let's don't print Roberto anymore, because we know that works. If we access the Who module in Houdini and then press dot, you can see just like we created our file with hello and goodbye, inside this package there's a bunch of functions that we can run. A lot of classes and functions here. This is all of the stuff that we have access from Houdini. There is a UI package inside that, which refers to the UI, and there is a function there called message, display message. No. Create dialog, display message. Yeah, it's called display message. Display message, and this tool, if you put one the starting parentheses there, the opening parentheses, it gives you all the help it needs here. You can also just go to the Houdini help and see everything that it's being displayed here. But this, it just tells you what it needs. This display help can just take one parameter, and we can just type some text here, like let's say now again, say hi to Roberto again, and then we hit apply, and then we click here. Now we have a really fancy window here that says hello Roberto, yay. But we can also make a window that actually takes some input, like read input, and we could give it a name. Give me your name, give it some content, and then we can give it a title actually as well. Just give it an identifier title, and the title is gonna be my tool is great. So that we pass two parameters to this tool. Again, the same way we created a function that takes parameters, this takes two parameters. Takes more parameters, but some of them are optional. Now if we hit apply and click here in the output, Now it's saying it's expecting me to type something here. You can see my tool is great, is the name, and it says give me your name. If I give it my name, Paramix, okay, that's it. Nothing happened, just got my name. But if I store this in a variable, let's call this name, and make it equals to whatever this thing returns, because this is going to return whatever you type. And after that, if I print name and apply, I can say try that. My name is Baramix, and I give it enter, and then it prints it here. So it's printing, and you can see it's printed in a kind of a tuple. It's the first element is 0, and the second element is my name. So if I just want to print the name, remember that we access those by these square brackets. I'm not interested in the first value, so apply, say Baramix, and prints whatever I type. Pretty cool. So we're gonna import, you can see in any of these tools from Houdini, there is some, this is one of those tools that is not. It's using these object utilities, so we can actually use those as well. So let's import that. Import object. Let me just copy it here so I don't get it wrong. Object utilities. Now we have object utilities available here, and we're gonna create a null, like the same way actually that this is creating a null. You can see it's creating a null. You can actually copy all this code here from here and paste it here. We're gonna start with this null. You can see if we just type null, creates if we click this null, creates a null whatever you click here in the scene, but we are gonna create it here actually. So we just grab that code that creates the null, and then we're gonna ask for the name of this. Maybe first, let's I want to create this node but connect it to something here. So let's say that I have this node selected. I want to know if that node is actually the current selected node. So let's create a current node variable, and we're gonna say let me just print it first. This works variable, it's really useful in Houdini. You can see it's used here, and you kind of have to just look it up on yourself, but it contains a lot of useful stuff from Houdini. And one of the things that it contains is the pane. Which pane are we working on? This is the pane, the network pane, the scene pane, the properties pane, etc. So just current node. So this is gonna return whatever node we are selecting here in this pane right now. So let's see if we select this one and run our tool, and it wants to create some thing here. Current, I think, let me see if because I don't want to run it here from let's just store this in a variable for now, current node, because we are not actually going to use it interactively here in the viewport. We're going to actually use it here, and let's do that. And then we're going to ask for the name, and the name we wanted to make all capitals. Most of the time when you are creating one of these tools, you want to make it all caps because it shows at the very top and stuff like that. So we're gonna say node name. Name is gonna be equal to name, but in uppercase, right? You can just do that. And name also, we want to be just the second value that was returned, right? So we can actually do that here, so it only gives us the second value. Instead of 0 and baramix, we just give us the second one. So name, it's upper. We can always be printing stuff so we can know what's being done here. So let's see. I don't want to I don't want to run it in the viewport, so just clicking here is not good. Let me see if I don't do that. I don't want to blah. Okay, so let's create it like this. Don't want to do this thingy for now. Let's cancel this attributes. All right, this lines. Node type has no current node because I'm doing this. Oh, I don't want to do that. I will explain this in a minute. So let's say out colors, whatever. So now it's just taking my name and just making it all caps. All right. So let's activate this stuff again. And we are going to do this by creating the tool from here instead of clicking it here. This is just a placeholder that it can be there, but we're gonna have to access it here. But if I type out here, you see the tool is not there. So let's do that now, because just clicking here doesn't work for this kind of tool. Again, let's go to the context, and we're gonna select the sub context, which is this. And now if I apply that, you can see now if I type tab and put out, you can see my out tool is there. Now we can use it here. And if I use it here, it's trying to tell me put it somewhere, and I put it there, and it asks for a name, and say the name is out something, and then it gives it this, makes it all caps and stuff. All right, so just again, to access it here, we go to the context and activate subs. We don't actually want to use it here. So, but now we want to actually put that in the name of the tool, right? So let's see, we have the current node, and the current node is just going to be the null we are creating. So now we have the name in uppercase. We ask the user for the name, and now let's just say for the current node, let's set the name, which is another function for the node, and we can pass the name here, and the name is going to be the name that we collected here. And I think that's it. I don't think I need something else. Let's call it here again, out, give me your name, Baramix. Now that name is here, and it's in caps. Pretty cool. Now the other thing we can do is actually give it some color. So current node, set color, and the colors in Houdini are in, you can actually get the color. Let's drag this. Let's say we want this purple. Let's drag this null here, and let's say that color, I think it is. Yeah, so there we go. We can get the color there, and it's just it's a who color function. So we need to give it that kind of a function naming here, who color, and the color is just gonna be these values that we collected. We have to enclose this in double parentheses for some reason. It's just the way it is. It's R is gonna be 0.6 actually. And just type in these values. The green is gonna be 0.4 and blue it's gonna be 1. And apply. Now we can create that tool again, and there's some errors. Yes, there's a parenthesis missing here to close this one. There we go. Apply and out, and now I can give it my name, and it colors the node and it gives it the name that we typed. And so that's just one simple basic tool. If we want to actually set the this flag here, we can just use this expressions. I'm just gonna copy it so I don't spend more time on that. So current node, set the display flag to true, which is the blue one, and set the render flag to true, which is basically just saying set this as the active node. And again, instead of give me your name, let's say out name, my out tool, apply. Now if we just want to make this is the output for Roberto, I'm gonna just right click that one, put it wherever I want, and say out Roberto, enter, and there we go, we have an output for Roberto. The only other thing here that I'm gonna do is that if you type a space in the name, you can see if I say out space Roberto, that's gonna fail because it's trying to read two things with a space there. So just to remove that space, we can use a Python function that it's let's call name. It's gonna be equal to name dot replace, and we're gonna replace the space. So just open a quote, give it a space, and close the quote. So basically we're looking for space, and the space we're gonna replace it with underscore. So this is it is just plain Python. It has nothing to do with Houdini, but we're just trying to get that name to don't have any space, even if the user types a space there. So out, I can just say out Roberto, and it just converts that to out underscore Roberto. Right, there you go. Cool. So that's one tool. We can apply this, close this, and now we have the tool available here for any project that we are working on. Weird cone. There you go. That's the weird cone. All right, so let's make another tool. Hey, Cyril. Later, man. I know it's late for you. Let's make another tool, and this is gonna be a merge similar to Nuke. You know, if you have used Nuke, let me open this version of Nuke that I have, which is opening somewhere. All right, here we go. If you used Nuke before, let's say we have a constant here and another constant here. I don't care. What I do in Nuke, or when I use Nuke, when I used to use Nuke, I just select two nodes and just press M, and then just merge the nodes. That's what I do in what I was used to doing in Nuke. Just select two nodes, press M, merge. So what if we want to do that in Houdini? Can we do that? Let me have a drink. Well, sure, we can do that in Houdini. Just have to script our own tool. So let's create a new tool here. Let's call it Merge 2, maybe. Or Merge Advanced, whatever. And that's gonna be it for that. And for the script, we're going to... Let me see what I have here, and let's try to do this as fast as possible. It's actually very simple. Subutils. So again, I'm gonna import subutils. This is another library. Subutils is gonna be utility for just gonna use it to create the merge node, and I'm gonna type an expression here, a variable to store the nodes that are selected, and to get the node selected, we just can use the who.selected nodes there. So let's print that. It's a good start. Print cell nodes, apply. You can see now if I select these nodes and I run this tool, gives me a list of the nodes that are selected. This is one, this is Roberto, and this is the other one, which is Cone. Right? So if I select more nodes, it's just gonna give me a bigger list. It just returns all the nodes that are selected. And you can see this is pretty useful if you want to do something with the nodes that you have selected. In this case, we want to select these two guys, press a keyframe, in our case M, and just merge them. So we have the node selected, and now we're going to create the merge tool just by using the subutils command. So subtool utils generic tool. This is basically, again, I'm not making any magic here. If we go to the merge tool, whatever it is, it might not even be here. But some of these tools might be subutil generic tool, and you just create the tool. Just pass the name of the tool you want to create here, and that's how I'm creating this. In this case, is the merge. So I take a lot from these tools to guide me. So I'm gonna create the merge tool. I'm gonna store it in this variable. Now I need a loop, and this is gonna be a for loop like we did before. So I'm gonna type two things here for X, and I'm gonna say node in selected nodes. Actually, I'm gonna enumerate the nodes. Enumerate selected nodes. So what I'm basically doing here, I'm using a for loop like we did before to print the colors. And I'm storing whatever we have here in the node, and this X is just a counter to so we can enumerate this list. So this enumerate is just making this thing be iterable, so we can iterate inside that thingy. So now here inside this for, we can get the node and maybe print the name. Every node has a name function, so let's print those names. Select two, click that guy, and oh yeah, let me not create this for now. All right, select these two guys, click theirs, evaluating Python. It's did it print out? Evaluating Python. Yeah, I think it's trying to work in this context, but actually our tool is gonna work in this context. So let's change the context again here to subs, and in this case we're actually gonna add a hotkey to activate the tool. So let's go to the hotkey section, and in the network section, edit that, and you can see your tool is already selected there. Just click here and press the hotkey you want to use. In my case is M, and then apply, and it just assign that tool there. So now if we select this and press M, now we are gonna run that tool here. Let me see. Oh, I'm not printing anything here. I forgot to say print. So let's select, press M. There we have the names. If we select more, press M, we have all those things. So now you actually know how to create a tool and run it with a shortcut key, which is pretty cool. All right, now that we have these guys created, iterating from that stuff, we just gonna connect them. And the way we connect stuff is by setting the input. So let's for the merge, since it has several inputs, we'll use the set next input, and the next input is gonna be the node, which is basically just saying let's create a merge here. Basically just doing this by script. That. selecting the output, connecting it, selecting the output, connecting. This is what this is doing. And we do it for the first node first, and then for the other node, just doing, again, basically just dragging, connecting. That's what we're doing with this command. If we apply this and run this, I get my node there. Just wants me to place it, and it's working. Whoa! So we just create a feature for Houdini. Instead of just having to go and merge and click here, click that. And if we have more nodes, we don't have to do that anymore. If we have like more Robertos here, like that, we just have to do this and press M, and voila, we're golden. Cool. So now, again, we just need to set the we can set the display flags to here, to this node, by at the very end, just doing that. Set the display flag and the render flag to the merge, accept, and let's kill this guy. And again, we can just go like this, and bam, bada boom, it's working. Cool. All right, I know that was a lot of stuff. All right, so question: can you use Python libraries inside Houdini? Yes, you can. If you know what pill is, you can import pill here. There we go. If you know what I'm talking about, that is working. Pill, it's a library for manipulating images. So yes, you can import a lot of libraries into Houdini. And actually, the Python panel here, if you go to Python panel, you can see this is actually using PySide. So if you know what PySide is, you can create whatever you want in PySide and put it in Houdini. This is PySide. I think Houdini is built on top of PySide or Qt, which is basically the same. So yeah, you can build whatever stuff there is on PySide. If you go to PySide, PySide. So if you learn PySide, you can apply everything you learn here for Houdini, basically. So yeah, actually that training that I show you, it's built on PySide. Those panels that I show you here, those I'll build with PySide, and those are external libraries. So you can use most of the external libraries in Houdini, for sure. Can you use a work with your own Python version, but you don't want to do that? Yeah, you can use PyQt as well, but I don't recommend to use PyQt because it's licensing stuff and all that things that a PySide solves. So PySide is exactly the same thing as PyQt without the licensing nonsense. So if you do whatever you want with PySide, you don't own anything to anyone, and you can sell your scripts even if you want to. All right, so I know I know this might be too much for some people, and maybe too little for some others. But this is a great start in Houdini. You can start making your own tools. You can start like thinking about, oh, I know how to connect these nodes in Nuke or in another application. I wish I could do this here. You can do it. You can do it. Just make a Python script and you can do all this stuff. You can even do tools that overlay on top of Houdini, like with PySide. Yeah, PySide is really, really, really alive. They just released PySide 2, which is just use it. So you can do a lot of great stuff with Python inside Houdini. It just, even in these new versions, you don't have to use any weird things to make PySide run in Houdini. You used to have a helper script, but no. they just integrated PySide right into Houdini, and even the UIs, you can see this UI looks exactly as it should look inside Houdini. If I change the color, you can see that's pretty common in other applications. If you change the color settings of your applications, the tools won't match, but in Houdini they do. Even this is my own theme and it works. You can see any theme will work. If you have the light UI, it will be white. So it's really well integrated into Houdini. So are there any questions? I do really recommend you guys learn Python. It's really, really useful. Not only in Houdini, outside of Houdini as well. I even help my daughter sometimes just do homework in Python, like, oh, can I arrange all this list of words in alphabetical order? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that in Python. I'm just not gonna see what the words do and how do you create your own? How do you create your own what? I don't understand the question. Your own, are you saying your own color settings here? Oh, if you're talking about that, it's not fun. You just have to edit a bunch of files. Well, it's just one file, but you just have to edit, close Houdini, open it, close it again. There's these HCS files. You can find them in Houdini. And you can just edit properties here and you will change the colors if that's what you're asking about. Yes, custom UIs like this one. Well, that is if you can go and start with this. If you want to do this, like it's saying do this code. Let me see if I can copy it because I don't want to type it. Alright, I copied the code. So this is helping you, like, go to the blah, 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 which basically is just saying go here, edit the interface, and replace this code with that code that it's telling you. Just place that code there, place the code there, apply. Now we have a calendar here. So you can see this is a PySide widget, which is a big calendar here. We can change whatever, so you can use whatever. Let's see today, whatever. So you can see you can do whatever here, whatever you want here in these panels. The orange highlight color, yeah, you have to just look around, man, until you find it. I don't remember which one it is, the color. I just have to go there and look around until you find it. Any questions? Python is magic. Yes, it is. It's really nice. It's really nice to use Python. How to make mine blue? Well, tweaking that just tweak that file until I found it. I don't remember. I did this a while ago, so I don't remember exactly what I did, but this file, if you want that file, I can give it to you guys and you can investigate what I did in that file. Actually, if you want it, just please go to mixtraining.com or mixtrn.com, and here in the community you're gonna have to register. But once you register, you're gonna see this tools and script forum, and here there is the color theme is here. So just click this topic here, and I'm gonna be adding more tools. Actually, now that we made these tools that we just created here, I can add those tools here. So here's my file. If you want my color, you can go there and get it from there. All right, yeah, Piper, it's pretty cool. Piper, it's amazing. Looks incredible. Okay. Any questions before we close this session, which was a really long one? There's it's 5:40, almost 2 hours. But I do really love talking about Python. I know that some stuff here might be confusing. Some stuff might be maybe too basic for you. But if some of this stuff is confusing to you, just try it, do it. Try to do some tools. Try to read the documentation included with Python, with Houdini, and you're gonna start doing stuff really quick. There's a bunch of examples as well in the documentation. So just try that. It will give you a really nice start. And I hope that plus this video will help you, and we'll have more advanced Python stuff. And again, if this was a little bit too basic for you, you can try my other Python tutorials. There are still on sale at CMI VFX. This one, it's the one that I show you guys. I have another one for Nuke. If you're interested in Nuke, you can still buy this, and it's pretty relevant as well. This is the one I made. It's Nuke for TDs, and it creates a tool for Python for Nuke in Python there. And this is the one that creates the whole character picker for Houdini. All right, guys. So, how did I get that file in from the camera? Did I try to make you? All right. So one question at a time. Mix training. Eric, I know you're not subscribed to my channel, so please go subscribe to my channel, because I have a video about that, and it's called Camera Notes. Please go check the Camera Notes video. I show you how to add those notes to the camera. These notes. This is something that I wanted for a long time, and finally one of the Houdini developers helped me with showing me what parameter I wanted to tweak for that. So see that video, please, for the camera file info. Have I tried communicating between other Houdini and other DCC applications? Yes, and it's pretty simple, and Houdini has the libraries included for that. If you want to know or if you want to try it, it's something called RC Python RCC RC I forgot. But yeah, you can try, you can do it. I've done it with Maya, and I've done it with Clarice, and it works pretty well. Pretty well. How is that called? I know that that library, it's included with Houdini. Houdini, let me do this on the side. So let's go to Houdini. Python libraries. There is a library for that, but don't remember it right now. But it's even included with Houdini. It should be here. Python live man, it's escaping me. The name is totally escaping me. But yeah, you can totally do it with Python and for Houdini for other applications. No, not remembering right now the name of the library. But it is included. You can see there's a bunch of stuff included with Houdini. There's a lot of I think it's this XMLRPC. I think this is the one that can connect to Houdini and all the stuff. There's a port you can open and all that things. you can import the shader to Clarice, Houdini shader from Houdini to Clarice. Nah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you can import the shaders. Well, you can't. You're gonna have to recreate the shader, but you can recreate it and try to make it look as similar as the one of Houdini as you can. But the shading, it's getting similar for every application now that we are all trying to use PBR. So you might get a similar look exporting the shader. Alright guys, I think also Clarice has a Python has Python integration. It's something that I actually asked for when Clarice wasn't even released for version 1. I was involved in the testing before version 1 came out, and the first thing I said is Python, 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 and they added Python. And Sam, the creator, was like, there it is, use it. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of Python everywhere. So there we go, guys. That's Python. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found this really heavy. 2 hours, it's kind of a lot, or an hour and 45 minutes. Thank you guys for being here. Please, if you haven't, go subscribe to the channel. It helps me a lot. Today we reached 800 subscribers, which was, oh my god, I never thought all those people will be interested in these things we're talking about. But thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, and a lot of great stuff it's coming. So that's it. Thank you guys. Let's keep learning together, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, keep it cool. See ya.